Welcome back to You're In Detention. Messy Mind is kicking off our New Year, Same You campaign. And we know January is coming. It's just around the corner. And it's often the hardest month for ADHDers. It's cold and it's dark. And payday is like a year away. It just feels like forever. And suddenly everyone's on diets and they go into the gym. And it can all make it feel like all the fun has been sucked out of your life.
Yeah, and for neurotypicals, January quite often feels, doesn't it, like a fresh start. But for ADHDs, it can feel like it's just a time to just keep going. So that is why we're saying New Year, same you, because you don't need punishing resolutions to prove your worth.
Yeah, and today we're going to talk about why resolutions can hit ADHD as harder and how sensitivity dysphoria shows up. So, why routines are so difficult to restart as well once they're broken. And also just exploring some like kinder alternatives. So, we're going to be exploring all of that in this episode, and we're going to be setting everyone up so that we do not fail in the new year immediately because every year I do that. So, let's just go through this together. Um, so let's talk. Should we talk a bit about executive functioning, and like how that links to motivation and memory? 'Cause I think it's a really important topic because executive functioning is like the brain's organizer, and it like helps us plan, start, and also like remember things. So for ADHDers, motivation and memory don't always line up. Like you can really want to do something, but your brain just won't let you start. Or you remember it, but you just can't get yourself moving.
Yeah, and so for me, that's really interesting because if I'm motivated, I usually just crack on and get on with it.
Mhm. Yeah, that is it. I think that's the mismatch that, like, makes resolutions more difficult. Like, you set a resolution, like, say, I might say I'm gonna journal every day, but I'll forget for one day, and then that's it, like, I just can't, like, restart it again, and it's just I think that can then make you s like, you just then think, "Right, that's the end of it now. I've failed at that."
Yeah.
So rather than going, "I've just had a day off," 'cause I'll give you a great example of this that we've just had, Kerry. So, like, me and you've been going on dog walks all year independently because we don't live very near each other, but I was poorly the other week, and so a couple of days I couldn't go on the dog walk, and so every day I'd got into a habit of going on this dog walk before I start work, fine, but, oh my getting back into that routine last week and into this week, I just feel like it's just such an effort, and I know it shouldn't be, but it is, like, I was absolutely fine, I was in the routine,
Yeah.
even though it took me effort to get out the house. Once I'm out, I'm alright. Once I'm up the hill, I'm alright, but, like, that's a really good example of me like, luckily with the dog, it forces me to, like, stay in that routine because I have to take her out, and it's so dark. Um, and also I'm not a morning person, but and then I speak to you and you're like, "Yeah, been out with the dog," and I'm like, it just seems so easy how you're in your routine.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, I had it, I can't remember. Oh, when we were in London, so I don't do the dog walk. Bruce takes the dog out. And the only thing that's different for me the next day is I still get up, get dressed. I've pretty much the same routine every day, get out with the dog. The only thing that's suffered a little bit is that pacing up the hill feels a little bit hard. Had a day or two off.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? And I'm like, I think that's the thing, like, if you get up naturally, you get up and you go on a dog walk. But in my brain, it's like the transition of getting out of bed for the first thing, that's the problem. And like Lola, our dog, is not exactly a morning person either. So she's like a teenager. Like she doesn't get up in the morning. So she will be rotting in bed for as long as you let her. So that doesn't help. But it's the like transitions are really, really hard when you've got ADHD. So making that transition to get out of bed because I'm thinking I've got to go brush my teeth, I've got to go and brush my hair, I've got to try and make myself look slightly presentable. I wouldn't class it as presentable, but like to get out the house. Um, and it's just the all those little things in my mind is going, you've got to do this, 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 this. There's a mountain of things
Yeah.
just to get out with the dog. And whereas I think in a neurotypical mind, correct me if I'm wrong, it's I'm gonna take the dog out, so I'm gonna get up and go and take the dog out.
Yeah.
And I
And
like,
it's exactly yeah, it's exactly that. I've a very, very set routine. Harvey's great because Harvey will keep me to the routine. He'll just keep bringing me chewed up toys as gifts to encourage me along. Um, but I've got a really clear routine. Even on Saturdays, we need to be out on the dog walk before 8 o'clock because they have a park run. That's a whole thing. But we need to beat park run. I take personal achievement if we do
right.
manage to park run. Um, but it's for me, it's very cut and dry. I get up in the morning. I know I'm going to have my cup of tea, get ready, walk the dog, work. That's as basic as it is in my head.
Yeah, and you're always like, I can guarantee that you're always at your desk at a set time, and every day it's different for me. Like when I arrive in there, depending on whether I've managed to like get up early and take the dog out. But I don't know, it's just like that. I think it's that sustained effort just to do really, really straightforward things. Um, and so that, yeah, when you then decide, you're listening to everyone in the new year saying, "Oh, what's your New Year's resolutions?" Like, I mean, it's just puts that extra like pressure on ADHDers because you're just thinking, all right, well, just general like life takes a sustained amount of effort. Um, because as you know, when things get really, really tough, that's when my mind is really, really clear. But on
Yeah,
a day to day, like all the things that I need to do to stay alive and to keep other members of my household alive and healthy, that's the hardest thing to do. Is just that the routine. Um, so it sits squarely, doesn't it, into the New Year resolutions. And I think that why do we need to do them in January? I mean, why I didn't start my dog walking every day, like going until I finished my corporate role and then was self-employed. But that was in June. Um, I didn't actually start doing the dog walking every single day in the morning till like August. So I wasn't going to wait till January. January, it's pitch black. It's horrible.
yeah,
And why do we need to start them in January? Who says that? It's just the reinventing yourself, isn't it, every year?
yeah.
But
And I
like,
think the whole thing with New Year's resolutions is interesting. I was chatting to Bruce about it when we were on the dog walk this morning because he's already got three. I think he had resolutions. One I think was an add-on because it involved myself. Um, but he said, "What are yours?" And I was like, "I just every time I've done a resolution though, I have good intents, but I put pressure on myself. It has to be something quite big. So
yeah,
it's either something quite big, which I definitely can't do, um, or something that's going to cost me money, which is something like a gym membership, which I won't use. And to be fair, Joe will be lucky if Kerry gets there once, and I'm just then paying a gym for 6 months. Um, but for me, it's I will just I don't even think I call them resolutions. So like the dog walk every morning, I only started after I left my corporate role. Um, but it's something that's I suppose I'm just adding routines in.
yes, yeah. I do know, yeah, it's really like you say, the only weight that I would lose by gym membership in January is out of my bank account because there's absolutely no way I'll be like, who wants to go to the gym in January when it's freezing cold? Like, there's like, if you go after work, then that's your evening gone, then you've got to make tea, all that kind of stuff. But I don't know, I think the worst thing about um, breaking routines or breaking resolutions is RSD because that's like that's like an intense feeling of shame, and it's not other people feeling that shame or because of other people, it's because you think that you failed. So if said I'm going to go to the gym in January and I'll go once and then that'll take me loads of effort to do that, and then if I don't go the next day, it'll just go over and over and over and over in my head with non-stop all day. We haven't gone to the gym and you've just failed on that. I think that's like the hardest part of it because it's you're inside your own head all the time. So and you can't get out of it. So you can't get away from that. It's not like, "Oh, I've missed the gym. I'll go again tomorrow," and you've moved on. No, no, that narrative is gonna stay all day into the night. It'll keep me awake. And at night, like, I've got so much motivation, like, at midnight, I'm like, "Right, tomorrow's gonna be the day. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do the other, I'm literally gonna change my life." And then tomorrow happens exactly the same as the day before, and then I go to bed and I think, "Right, tomorrow's gonna be the day, tomorrow," and I've thought this for the last 49 years, like, "Tomorrow, it's the day." Um, and tomorrow isn't the day. I just feel like I never know if I'm gonna have a really good day and get loads of stuff done, or I'm gonna have a day where I'm just procrastinating and thinking about getting stuff done, and then spending all night just beating myself up about not doing it.
Yeah.
I think
And
RSD
I think
is the biggest.
yeah, and I think that was one of the things when we were working more closely together, and we've talked about RSD quite a number of times. And I think whereas I realised for me, if I've done my New Year's resolution, and please, Joe, feel free to beat me down if in January I say to you my New Year's resolution was to go to the gym. Um, but if I'd not been, I'd get to a stage where I'd found it quite funny that I'd be like, "Oh, yeah, I'm going to go tomorrow." I'm not.
Yeah,
Um, but that it won't sit with me. But whereas I know it will sit with you, and sometimes you can say if you're like, "Oh, I haven't been out for the dog walk," or and it's like, well, you're poorly.
yeah.
It's absolutely fine. Lo will be fine running
Yeah,
herself
yeah.
around the garden, and she will, and snuggled up in a pizza outfit.
Exactly.
Um, but then I'll try and like send you a little message to be like, "Oh, it's fine, you'll crack on. It'll be
Yeah,
tomorrow's a different day, but if you're not feeling it, absolutely fine.
exactly.
Absolutely fine."
And then when you're on so if you're lying on the sofa then not very well, I could be lying on the sofa feeling terrible, and in my head will be, "We haven't taken the dog out, so you're gonna lose your streak on your Apple Watch, like, it's the longest one you've ever had. That's gone now." Like, it's just yeah, it's almost just having that critical voice all the time in your head, which is one of the things that is probably, when you talk to ADHDers, there's definitely one of the most difficult, if you like, a condition that comes along with ADHD. I think it's pretty much proven that most people with ADHD do suffer from RSD and other neurodivergent conditions as well. But it is just that constant narrative that you've failed on something. And so, it's how what I've really tried to do this year, particularly in the second half of the year, is to just like not set these like massive goals. Like with us launching the Messy Mind, well, like, I need to do everything within a few weeks. Like we need to get it all done. And I think we were talking about this yesterday, wasn't it? Messy Minds has only been going 8 weeks today when we film this. Um, so by the time this goes out, it will probably be like 12 to 14 weeks.
Yeah.
It feels like it's been going for like 6 months at least. And so, but we've only got to where we have by breaking things down and doing, I think everyone always thinks they've got an idea. I think if you've got an idea with ADHD, you've got an idea, and then it's got to be completely done and formed and everything like running like clockwork. And the bit in the middle is all the grey, like all those things you need to do to get that business off the ground. If we're talking about business, that is the stuff, that is the grey area in there. That's like muddy. It's not interesting. It's not fun. It's like, oh, it just needs to be up and running. And that's where me and you working together have massively helped.
Yeah, definitely. Um, obviously, you were undiagnosed for many, many years. But how have you got things that you do to cope with the RSD?
Um, yeah, I do. I do. It's really weird with RSD because usually they'll give you a really good example of how RSD would show up in my old role, and actually when I was in corporate, because I could get like a message from my boss. He and he would say, "Oh, have you got 5 minutes in the morning?" Well, like literally, then I'd be like, "Right, okay, well, what's happened?" trying to rack my brains, like, what's happened? Like, what's the matter? What's up? And like, so all night I'd be just thinking about what it is you want to talk about. And I think on one occasion, I think I'd phoned and it said, "Are you all right?" I was like, "Yeah, yeah." He's like, "What's up?" I'm like, "Well, you said you wanted to chat." He's, "Oh, yeah, I forgot. I was just like, I just wanted to ask you about this." Right, literally all night. I'd been like every scenario you could possibly imagine, and I'm thinking, "Mm." But like just simple things like that. But what was so funny is that actually he must have a very similar. He would. It's very similar, but very different. We were. But if I said to him, "If you got 5 minutes," he would phone me like immediately because like he couldn't wait to hear what it was I needed to tell him. Or so it's really it's so things like that. Yeah, I guess if someone if my husband would say to me, "Oh, I need to talk to you," well, firstly, that's it. Then I'm getting divorced. Second, like it goes straight to that my mind, and I'll say now, "Okay, well, you've said that, so now is the time that we'll be having that conversation. It is not in half an hour because I can't do anything else now until we've had that conversation." And it's just, but what I do try and do, which is some of the stuff we're working on our coaching program, which is this truth versus tale.
Mhm.
So I try and write down like all the things that is that I'm thinking, and then I try and write down all the actual facts that I've got that that is the case. And very often when you do that, you're like, okay, well, I can't write any facts down because I've just fabricated all of it in my head. So like I try and do that. So, but I think yeah, definitely RSD, and we will have to do a full podcast on RSD actually because it's such a huge topic. Um, it's probably that and the procrastination are probably the worst parts of ADHD for sure. Like because RSD, you kind of in your head, everyone's annoyed at you and everyone hates you and everything like that, and everything you do it irritates people. But the procrastination is you're sitting there needing to do things, needing to get on with things. And actually, a lot of stuff like this is just playing out in your head all the time. And actually, it's just, yeah, it's just really quite exhausting that part of it. I mean, there's so many strengths to ADHD, but some of the things that I'm talking about now are the things that are really like quite tiring every day.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think with your one thing I would say that I notice with you, because of your experience with RSD, and even, I mean, we've talked about these examples before when you get that, or can I just have, I need a chat with you? But it's like, it doesn't matter does it, if it's half an hour or we'll speak on Monday. Well, it's Friday, so I'd rather you just tell me now.
Yeah.
But I think you're very mindful of, well, if I said that, if you said that to me, you'll give me context to it. We'll
Uh-huh.
catch up on Monday about
Yes.
this is what we're talking. This I want to have a chat with you on Monday. No point in having it on Friday because we'll both forget over the weekend. But I'm going to talk to you about whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Because I think you're mindful that you don't want me being like,
I
it's
know.
Friday.
It's
Yeah,
fine.
I'm going to have to WhatsApp you over the weekend about this. What is it?
The
What do we
good
need to
thing
chat about?
the very good thing about working with me is that usually if I need to tell you something, it's immediate because by Monday I've
Yeah.
forgotten it. So like I was like, it works really well. It's like now. But I think, yeah, and if you relate that back to New Year's resolution,
Uh-huh.
that kind of constant like negative narrative that can go on in your head is it plays into all those things. But I mean, look at January, it's it's people try and reinvent themselves in January. Okay, well, most neurodivergents like will wear a mask a lot of the time anyway, which is part of which is why they get so like exhausted all the time because they're trying to be almost like a chameleon. So they, what skin am I wearing today? Like, what do I need to be today? Am I like presenting? Am I like doing spreadsheets? What is it that I need to be for everyone else today? And I think that's that if I was looking at New Year's resolutions and it had to be in the new year, I would be looking at, why don't you be a bit kinder to yourself? Why don't you try and like lose the mask and have the confidence talk about who you actually are rather than who everyone wants you to be and expects you to be. Like, there's definitely things that we can do that are not like gym memberships or things where you feel like you're going to fail.
Yeah,
Like, the difference between talking about neurodivergence and not is life changing. Like, it really is. I can be me. D- that's it. I don't need to apologize for things that I wouldn't be less good at. And I can focus on things that I am good at.
yeah,
That's life changing. That is. And that's why we obviously Messy Minds was created to help other people on that journey.
yeah.
But you always put others first. Like, it's always like, you don't spend that time on yourself. And it's really, really important that you do that.
100%. And I think the difference with what you've just said in talking about, so a New Year's resolution could be to be kinder to yourself.
Mm.
It's not, you're not giving yourself a task to do.
Yeah.
So I don't think you've got that. My New Year's resolution is to go. I mean, I keep coming back to the gym one because I have done
Well, the
that before. I've done that several years in a row. Um, but even if it was, I don't know, that my New Year's resolution is I'm going to go out and do this activity once a week, or I'm going to read a book once a week.
Yeah.
You're giving yourself a task, whereas I think what you're doing is giving yourself something. So it's not a
Yeah.
physical thing that you have to do and it's a set time. I think you're just being a lot kinder to yourself. So you're already being kind to yourself with your New Year's resolution.
Yes, that's it. Just actually, it's more like giving yourself permission to be more self-aware and aware of who you are. And it's I think that's yeah, like you say, it doesn't have to be a gym. And I'm not being funny, but if anyone says that they stick to their New Year's resolutions, because everyone knows the gyms are packed in January, they're less packed in February, and then they're just back to the people that always go all the time. Like so, and I take my hat off to those people because I find the gym just so boring. But I tell you what is interesting. One of the things that this was before I got diagnosed, but one of the things that I started training when I was, oh gosh, I've got to be in about maybe 27, 28, a long time ago. But I I started training martial arts,
Uh-huh.
kickboxing, and I just it helped me so much. Like, it wasn't boring. Because you did like gradings and stuff, so you had like belts to aim for, and it was always interesting and it was always exhausting. So I was absolutely hooked on it. I used to go like 4 times a week, and I just think like it was such a good thing because I used to like with any as many people you get like anxiety, and people would think that that was anxiety, but actually it's ADHD. It's just unchanneled and unknown about. But when I used to go to kickboxing, it was just I don't know, it just helped me so much with my confidence. Um, I then trained as an instructor. I'll never forget when I first did that. It was like, all right, this class that you're in, now you're going to go and take a warm up just to see whether or not you're capable of going to be a coach. It was like absolutely terrifying. But do you know the going on that journey, like, it was almost like medication itself because it was so impactful and so motivating because it wasn't in the gym, you were just seeing, like, you could barely see the gains, can you? Well, not me 'cause I didn't go, but you see this so gradual, whereas when you're learning something, I definitely found that that motivation when I got when I did a grading and I got my first belt, all I wanted was my first belt, and when I got that, I didn't again, no sense of achievement at all, none. I want the next belt. Like, literally, my mind was already on that. Like, and that's just how it works. I don't have that sense of achievement, but I think, right, that's what I want to do next. And before I knew it, like I was up to black belt and coaching, like teaching other people. But like that had a massive impact on my life. So yeah, I would definitely advise people if you're looking for something to do, maybe if you've got very low boredom threshold like I have, try and look for something that you can learn because then are actually don't fit at the same time. So if you're looking for resolutions, that's probably something, again, doesn't need to be in January. Um, but a lot of places do have like discounted memberships and things like that in the new year to try and get like their memberships up and stuff. But take it up in April, take it up in June when it's warm. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. And I
That
think that's the difference, isn't it? It's not
mm,
you're not giving yourself a task, you're doing something you want to do.
yeah, exactly. It's got to be something that's like if you're going to do something, don't do something that you're setting yourself up to fail because you think it's boring. If you think it's boring while you're talking about it now, could guarantee that you're really not going to stick at it. So, thinking about something that interests you and something that you've always wanted to do, um, that's you give yourself like half the chance of feeling like you've accomplished something rather than this incredible effort that you have to make for things that are just really boring. But yeah, it is. Is there's definitely we could definitely do New Year in a different way, but like I say, New Year, same you is all about you. You just be you. You're still you in the new year. From when I go to bed on the 31st of December to when I wake up on the 1st of January, I've not need to reinvent myself every year to be something I'm not.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that, does it?
No, and I think it just puts that whole it's funny because you have the cut-off, don't you? So December 31st, I can still be running around, having a nice drink, and on January the 1st, I'm not gonna drink because that's my New Year's resolution, or I'm not gonna eat bad foods, but on December the 31st, I'm, rotting my best life at home, eating a family grab bag of, I don't know, M&Ms and a massive pack of crisps or something. But it always feels that December the 31st, you get ever so excited, it's New Year's Eve and da, da, but then there's that pressure. I must have a resolution. Somebody's going to ask me about what's my New Year's resolution. So I must have
Yeah.
something. So it's just the reframing it into doesn't need to be it almost when I was growing up, I suppose, felt like it needed to be something of a bit of a punishment.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't
Or
do this or you're not having that anymore or that's it.
yeah, I wasn't good enough this year, so
Yeah,
I need
yeah,
to do that.
yeah,
But it's everything. And yeah, I mean, if I want to like do the dog walks, then I chose to do that throughout the year. If I want to eat a bit differently, then I can do that any time. But a lot of people, you just put this immense pressure on yourself the 1st of January. And I'm sure for everybody, there is a lot of Christmas food left on the 1st of January, must be
yeah,
eaten.
yeah, people have got it in the bin. Have you I
Yeah.
also have seen that I think as well, when you like, I don't know if you feel this, but like in December, you always come across people, don't you, that want to ask you, "Are you finished for Christmas?" Like, "Are you finished for Christmas?" Uh, and they've always finished for Christmas, haven't they? Anyone that's asking you if you finished for Christmas has always finished for Christmas, like, and not only if they finished for this Christmas, they finish for next Christmas. And then they're those kind of people that want to tell you that on Boxing Day, everything's packed away like it never happened, and then the house is spring cleaning and they've got the Easter eggs in. There's those people that like to make everyone just feel like they're so behind or they're failing and stuff. And actually, you need to really be careful with what you're saying because people
Yeah.
feel like, it's like life doesn't work like that. It's not a race, it's not a competition. You do what works for you, and that is it. That is all that matters. Like, you don't have to have your best year in 2026. You don't have to have had your best year in 2025. It doesn't work like that because life isn't like a constant, or you can't plan to have your best year yet. Like, what is your best year yet? Is it when you brought a dog? Is it when you when you had kids? Is it when you got married? Like, what constitutes a great year? Um, it's different for everyone, but
Yeah.
oh, are there people that would love to tell you about how organized they are, and while they're saying that, they don't actually necessarily understand how that's landing with other
Yeah.
people. Um, and think conversations like that can just leave you thinking, "Gosh, why am I always behind?"
Yeah. Well, like I've already got all my Christmas decorations up. I've already wrapped all the presents. I've bought all the presents. We
Yeah.
spoke about this yesterday, and I've not bought all the presents.
Yeah.
Um, Struggling to pull out of people what they want.
Yeah.
So and I agree. I think it puts, when you've got someone being all, yeah, I'm all done. It's a bit like,
So
well,
what?
I'm clearly not very good then.
Really pleased for you.
I try every year. I try really hard, but I know this works for me. This,
Yeah. Chaos.
how I do it.
Yeah.
Christmas Eve, I'm pretty confident we'll be ready.
Yeah. You know what as well? Like what was I gonna say? It's really yes, I know what I was gonna say. Um Social media. So I mean, particularly I think if you've got kids in like primary school and lower than that, like in infants and stuff, I really like used to notice it on social media, and the amount of times I've come off social media and I obviously have to be on it now with messy minds and the amount that we are on social media, but people just projecting these perfect lives of like having this people got their matching pajamas, they're seeing Santa, they're in Lapland. I mean, we've done all the presents and we just spend December in Lapland, you know. Right. Absolutely great. I'm really pleased for you. But that is not like there is no way because on social media, people aren't having, not putting videos of kids having a meltdown seeing Santa. And I know because I have kids, I know that they have a meltdown in the middle of a car park while you're queuing up to see Santa. Like I know that these things happen. And even if you're in Lapland, I know that the kids probably have had a meltdown 10 times before you've even got that photo that everyone thinks is just perfect life. But Christmas Day as well, like the adverts on TV, like everyone sat around eating Ferrero Rochers in sequin dresses. Like, I don't know who these people are because I've never met anyone that does that. But I could easily compare myself to those adverts on TV and those people on social media. Again, just showing
Yeah.
the best bits. That is not life.
No. And I think that's it. And I think everything is so different for everybody else. So it's what you like, what you enjoy. My Christmas and New Year is always super relaxed. The only
Yeah.
thing that's not relaxed is if anyone's trying to watch me cook, because that can just be an experience.
Yeah.
I start off dead organised. I have my lists and
Yeah.
everything. Um, but I think it was last year or the year before, I almost dropped the turkey. Ended up just filling the bottom of the oven with turkey juice. However, I'm I'm comfortable. I'm dressed comfortably. My Ferrero Rocher moment will be the whole box, and it will be the whole box. There's no point in having one.
In your pajamas.
I'll have a nice glass of red wine in front of a film on the telly, or I'll have my friends around and we'll be playing ridiculous games, anything you can play super easy when you've had a drink or two.
Yeah.
I'll be comfy. I'll be in a Christmas jumper and something probably elasticated.
More elasticated.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true, isn't that's what works for you? It was interesting what you just said. You've got your list. I'm like, oh, I would like that's goals of having a list because like this is the problem why I never am able to ask for help because my list is in here. It's in my head, and to get it out onto a piece of paper, I don't know. I would never be able to achieve that. But like that's why if anyone says, "Do you want any help?" I'm like, no, because I in this list is in any order. There's no order to it, and it's just like a circular thing where I'll just walk around going, "I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do that." And one thing reminds me of another, and that's how I just somehow it kind of works. But that's years and years of like working out how to work without like clear lists which I've never had. If I've got a list, it's taken me, like, some time to actually create that list, and then I'm like, "Off, brilliant." But the thought of creating a list is a task in my head, so it's just crazy, isn't it, how, like,
Yeah.
everybody's so different, and it's yeah. I'm just gonna get your list and just copy it. I'm like, "Yeah."
I'll photocopy it for you and send it. However, what I'd need with that, so in exchange, you can send me your Keeping Calm in a Crisis,
Yes.
because we were fortunate with the whole almost dropping the turkey instant. I found it highly amusing that I'd coated the whole oven in turkey juice.
The one
Um,
of that then.
but last year, and it didn't come to a meltdown in the end, but I think I'd spoken to someone about really good roast potatoes.
Yeah.
And they said, secret is when you've boiled them and you think they've been boiled for long enough, boil them a bit longer. I was
Oh,
like, I'm on this. I had when I tipped the potato pan out, it just all came out as there was like bits of potato. It looked like mashed potato
oh,
already.
yeah.
So, when you're like, I don't know if there's any salvage in any potatoes. And that's when I could have done with phoning you and saying, this has happened. And you'd have been like, right, no, it's fine. Okay, we can
Fine.
scoop them, we can mould them back into potato shape, Kerry. It will be absolutely fine. So,
Making
because that's what you are brilliant at, is I can be when you're
yeah.
like, "No, no, this is crisis resolution here now."
This is, and I think like because I usually know that it will be a crisis. I am my way around that is my good old friend Aunt Bessie, who actually makes roast potatoes for me and everything like that. And I'm like, right, they're all in the freezer. And if anyone wants to talk to me about why I've not made my own roast potatoes, I'll have a conversation with them. But like, it's just again, it's like, right, what can I do to make the minimum time in the kitchen and the maximum time with everyone else, because otherwise you end up you're in there all day, aren't you? While the kids are like just rotting around the house and stuff. And oh yeah, it's like you say, it's just yeah, anything that goes absolutely to pieces. I love yeah, just call me. Anything that's just not nice and calm, don't bother.
"No, my gravy's lumpy." Sieve it, it will be fine.
Civic,
Brilliant.
fine,
Got
yeah,
it.
absolutely, absolutely. Oh, do you know what? Well, do you know what? I hope that this helps other people listening to this that thinks actually, oh, everyone's asking me what New Year's resolutions are. Well, actually, just say, well, I don't make resolutions. Actually, I might do, I might take new things up throughout the year. But yeah, just as January arrives, remember it's the lowest dopamine month of the year, guaranteed. It's freezing and it's dark, so resolutions, yeah, they can just pile on a load of shame, but you don't need to prove anything to anyone. So remember to be kind to yourself. Spend some time working out who you are. Spend some time working out about what mask you wear and why you're wearing it, and give yourself a bit more confidence to talk about you as you really are. And actually, that's a fantastic way of going into the new year, just being a bit more kind to yourself. Screw the gym memberships, you're never going to stick at them. Or take something up that's like interest based, as something that you know that you might get actually hooked on, albeit that we know it's usually like a short amount of time. But hopefully that's helped you feel like you're not alone if that time of year is just uh, brings with it everything that we've talked about. Remember, it's a new year. It's the same you. It's the same you as it is on the 1st of January, as it is on the 1st of December. Um, yeah, just be kind to yourself and think about just one intention that feels really, really kind. And just give yourself a bit of flexibility and a bit of space. And yeah, we'll make it into the new year unscathed, hopefully this year with New Year's resolution shame.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, thank you for watching. This has been our New Year kind of survival kit for any neurodivergence or ADHD, as well. However you come and turn up here, you are all very welcome. Thanks for all your support with Messy Minds and the podcasts this year. We've really, really enjoyed doing them. They're continuing into the new year, and we've got some really exciting stuff to share with you coming out in January. So hopefully that can increase the dopamine back up again. Certainly will for us. So don't forget to give us a New Year's thumbs up, and obviously subscribe to our podcast, and also tell others about it that might not know about it yet. But thank you for watching. We will see you in 2026. Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.